Not like this. They don't like it when it rains, Papi. And here we go. We're getting into our next best of 3, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Z Gaming. It's the red Zerg. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. We're getting some updates in the chat. This seems to be the 4th series straight where Hero takes down Cure, which is quite impressive. It is, considering that Cure is a bit of he has a master class of TVP, and against any other Protoss player in the world, like, I would favor him. Even against Max Packs, even against, you know, Creator and Showtime. So yeah, really impressive stuff by Hero. But again, that just goes to show the caliber of player that Hero is. I mean, he is the best Protoss in Korea, arguably in the world. So respect where respect is due. As we're getting into our next quarterfinals match to see who faces off against Hero in the next round, whether it's going to be our Terran or our Zerg. If you notice as well, Dark is the last Zerg player left in the tournament. It's all Terran and Protoss from here. That's typically how it goes in these events, in these weeklies. It's either Dark or Solar, and this week Solar didn't sign up. He didn't sign up for ESL Americas, so because of that, it's only Dark. Again, Ragnarok, he mainly signs up for ESL Asia. DRG is very inconsistent. Serral doesn't sign up for these. Raynor doesn't sign up for these. So when it comes to the top tier Zerg players that are active in the online tournament scene, it's mainly Dark and Solar. And again, without Solar being present, it's just Dark. Just Dark against the sea of Terran and Protoss. Can he make it through? Ay, ay, ay. We'll see if he can, as... Yeah, we did see a Hatch Gas pool opener. He's going for his 3rd base on time, on location. Pretty standard stuff here from Dark. Nothing too fancy. Meanwhile, the Reaper has arrived. Going to be dancing with these things. Does get 1! You may have noticed that Dark did make 6 lings, but that is just hashtag Dark things. He is known to just make an extra pair of lings to be safe against the first Reaper. He just prefers doing this, just, you know, to make sure he doesn't lose any drones. Just a very safe way to play. Just a very Dark way to play. I should also point out that Clem did opt to go for a Rax Expand. No 2 Rax opener. And again, the 2 Rax openers have fallen off a little bit more just because they have been, I wouldn't say figured out, but players like Dark are so much more comfortable against it. But again, it's something that you want to whip out once in a series, but you don't want to rely on unless you're Björn. Then that's all you rely on. Oh, not like this. Do you see Dark dipping in with his Overlord? He does confirm the timing of the starport, so he's aware that it's a 1-1-1 opener, and that's something that we should put emphasis on, is that this is a delayed 3rd base, so very aggressive build here from Clem. Going for the add-on sub, going for the faster Banshees. Hellions are going to be poking here on the front lines, looking for a way in, but Dark does fend him off for now. Cloak is on the way. So again, by now the Terran player should have a 3rd CC. The fact that Clem is going to be staying on 2 bases a little bit longer does show us that he wants to get damage done. He wants to break through the defenses of Dark, and he does bypass the Queens. He goes straight for the mineral line. So far, a good split, but yeah, 3 drones go down and then some. The Hellions do make it into that mineral line, and so many workers are going down. 10 drones in total. And you may be thinking like, oh, do we lose map control for that? Well, I mean, we still have more Hellions. We still have more Hellions on the way. As I say that, Dark is going to try to catch them here in the center of the map, but alas, he is unable to. And Dark is forced back. So a really good dive from Clem to trade 4 Hellions for 10 drones. Meanwhile, he still has his Banshees as well. Cloak isn't done yet. Queens are getting in position. And Clem is now working on his 3rd CC. But a big reason why Clem dove in such a manner and why he was looking for that opportunity was because of his delayed 3rd. Like, there just straight up was more pressure on him to find that damage. There we go. The Banshee's threatening the right-hand side. We have Hellions threatening the left. Cloak is now done. We are up to 2 Banshees. Behind this, it's going to be Bioplay, not Mech. We have Stim, additional Raxes, 1-1 on the horizon here for Clem. And these Banshees aren't getting out of control, but, you know, they're finding a drone here or there. A couple of Lings. Wherever they can. Oof. Banshee taking a lot of hits. But alas, it does get out of range of that Spore. And yeah, it looks like Clem did overextend it. Banshee goes down. That was not worth it for Clem. Again, he got 1 drone and a handful of Lings. So really nice positioning from Dark. It is what he's known for, his Queen defense. And Clem does pay a price for it. Behind this, he's landing his 3rd CC. Building up his forces. But I think we can say with confidence here that, like, these Banshees just haven't really been worth it so far. Especially considering we invested into Cloak. In a way, they do keep you safe though, right? Dark is known for his Roach play. Like, his main unit is the Roach, let's be real, in most matchups. So to open up Banshees, it does make you safe against a player like Dark. And we can see that Dark, he's just committing to Ling Bane. I love this. He's going straight for an Infestation Pit, straight for a Hive. This is looking like Ling Bane into Ultra, which is something that Dark only typically does on large maps like Altitude and Ancient Cistern, sometimes Neo Humanity for other reasons. But yeah, there's that Hive on the way. Okay, never mind. No Ultras. There's a Hydroden, so I was getting excited for Ling Bane Ultra. This is looking like Ling Bane Lurker instead. Which does make more sense on a smaller map like this. As Clem, he's vying for map control. Did force a cancel earlier. So far, not really committing to anything major, just trying to keep Dark honest. Dark is trying to establish a 5th. Meanwhile, Clem is not going for an 8 racks. 8 racks are quite popular on Royal Blood, but we can see that additional gases are being taken, and a 4 CC is on the way. So Clem is not going for a 3 base all-in, but he is now focusing on his push. Tanks are moving out, Marines as well, Stim, Combat Shields, 1-1. All things are done for Clem, and he should force a cancel on this hatchery at least. Yeah, Dark is not in position to defend this. Hatchery is cancelled. Burrow is on the way. And let's go! There's the Ultra Cavern. To me, the High just told me that it was going to be Lunkers, but maybe our initial guess was correct here in the Ultras. Let's go. This is typically a really risky thing to do. The reason why Dark usually only does this on larger maps is because you have more freedom and more leeway to get away with taking up. On a map like Royal Blood, it's a lot more smaller and congested, and we can see that Clem is already threatening his bases. It can be more difficult to get away with, you know, skipping tech and skipping anti-air. And that's the big thing, that's a big weakness of Dark's army right now, is he has no answer to these drops. He has no Mutas, he has no Hydras, he has Queens, yes. But, like, really, these medevacs, there's nothing really stopping Clem from going for these, like, heavy drop styles. As he's just gaining value with these tanks, Dark double expanding elsewhere, taking the center base, expanding on the right-hand side. Clem is reinforcing, and he wants to push up this ramp in towards this base. And he is gaining ground. Yeah, Dark has to just give this up. Pulls the boys away. Ultras are in production. Vipers just popped out. But the Vipers, they need time. They need to gather up energy. They need to suck on some buildings. Dark is just bleeding out a little bit too much here. Again, Dark, he just has to be patient. He has to be patient and wait for Clem to expose himself. Whether it's pushing onto creep or even a moment like this where he unsieges, this is the moment where Dark can strike. We can see that Clem, he backs off, he goes back home, he's establishing his 4th, working on his 5th. And now Dark can retake this base, and Clem should be rotating over towards the right-hand side, which is an area where there is so much more creep to work with, where Dark has more control, where Dark can engage. That's a lot of tanks. As Clem pushes in, so does Dark. But Clem has plenty in position. Dark is forced back. His counterattack was able to buy some time, did force Clem to siege and pull back his reinforcements. The Vipers are now topped up. And here we go, the blinding clouds are thrown down. The tanks are covered. We have a couple of yoinks as well on those Liberators, and the Ultras are leading the way. They collapse on top of the tanks and take down the majority of them even. It's not enough to break Clem, but is enough to reset the tank count. Only one tank survives. The transfuse on the Ultra. It refuses to die. The Hero Ultra, and Dark from here, he can wait for reinforcements. 36 more Lings on the way, Banelings as well. The Viper survived as they gather up more energy for those blinding clouds, and yeah, Dark, he can just keep this going. Again, a much better fight, and you could argue that he was in a rough position just because Dark did lose 2 bases before that, but we saw that he never overextended, he never overcommitted. Again, really patient, mature play out of Dark, waiting for Clem to expose himself, or Dark just waiting for not just Ultras but also Vipers before he really committed to any big fight. In saying that, Clem backs off and he's getting the center base. Now this is a really dangerous moment. Clem, he's on 4, now on 5 base economy. He's got planetaries, he's got sensor towers, he has high ground as well. It's very difficult to break these entrenched positions as a Zerg player, but Dark, he's gonna have to try. He has to deny the 5th. He has to deny some of these bases. Speaking of, the base on the left is going to go down. At the same time, Dark is pushing in on the right-hand side as well. Takes down the tank. Banelings are finding some connections, but not too ideal. Ooh, as Dark does turn back around. Takes a better fight, but he loses his Ultras in the process. Does hold on to his base, but does lose a big army. And you can see Dark plummet in supply. That was a rough loss. He also doesn't have the best economy either. You can see him making 14 drones. Dark was on a low worker count, and he's hurting. Dark, he needs time to lick his wounds and to rebuild. There we go. We have Hydras on the way. 3/3. Pathogen glands for those infestors. But suddenly Clem has momentum. Suddenly Clem is more in the driver's seat as he's throwing down more towers, more liberation zones, planetaries as well. It's the power of royal blood. God, speaking of CCs, what is this? 4 more bases on the way here for Clem. I mean, with all these orbitals, eventually he can throw away SCVs. He can have just a better army supply overall, a stronger army supply. As Dark is, well, the map is being cut in half. Dark now has a solid economy. He has a gold base up to 92 workers. He can rebuild. He can remax. Dark is staying on a very maneuverable army, very flexible, low quality. Dark isn't quite set up for Broodlords, but here we go. He's going for a big counterattack, going straight for the planetary. The planetary is going to go down, not just the base, but also the workers. 22 SCVs go down. Can we borrow? As we do have another army on the right as well, trying to gain ground. I don't think Dark can break this position though, as he overextends a little bit and he will lose a Viper. But regardless, Dark did kill a base. And just as quickly as Clem lost it, he does retake it, as he did have another base ready to go. But again, Clem is being pulled out of position. A couple of tanks are going down for free. The base itself is going to stand strong. If we had a couple more Banelings, we could have maybe gone for the mineral line. But Clem does force Dark back. And Dark is just coming in from multiple angles, just trying to pull Clem apart left and right. And for the most part, he is. I'm just concerned he's being a little bit too wasteful. He gets 14 SCVs. Hatchery on the left goes down. Like, Dark is having a really hard time engaging with the main army. So if Clem did decide to go for a big counterattack, Clem, he would win out on that fight. Clem has the better army. Oh my god. As he almost takes down that hatchery. Jesus. But yeah, Clem, he's up in army supply. He's just spread thin. That's the advantage that Dark has, is that Clem is spread thin between all of his bases, trying to protect every angle he can. The gold base is being taken as well. Here we go, Clem just now establishing a gold, and Dark cannot allow this base to get up and running. Again, the goal here is that Dark should be containing his opponent. Dark should be containing Clem to 5 bases. Here we go, another big Ling Bane counterattack should collapse on this planetary. At the same time, tanks, they get caught on siege as well. But Clem does protect his gold. Again, the pressure is still on Dark. The Vipers! Oh! Big snipes by Clem, getting both of those Vipers as well. Big pickoffs. The Lings are wreaking some havoc, and they're causing a little bit of chaos. They're actually forcing a lot of the army back home. Oh my god. It's like 10 Lings. And because the army turned back around, it does create an opening. Tanks are falling, Banelings are rolling in. The Lings have still not been cleaned up. 11 SCVs went down. A good moment here for Dark, as he does borrow some of those Lings. Another base does go down. You can see that Clem, though, he's running out of resources. He's running out of gas. He's been losing a little bit too much. As another massive Ling run by, gets into another mineral line. 10 more SCVs go down. Now, Clem, he may be sniping bases. He may be trading well here. But he does feel pretty committed. He's got to go. He has to push everything through the center, because he's losing too much back at home. But more SCVs are going down. And Dark has the economy to rebuild. He's taking another base on the right-hand side. He can take these gases as well. Clem, he's struggling to remax. Oh my god, we're even going for a Nidus. And there we go. I was waiting for Dark to just like, to really focus on his economy and to get it back up and running, to refine his economy. There we go. He's sending workers to his fresh mining bases. He's taking additional gas geysers as well that he knows he needs. But because Dark is taking this time to